Hey, y'all, welcome back to Mountain Murders Midweek.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Dylan.
Hey, Dylan. How are you?
Man, I feel so middle of the week.
Do you?
Yeah.
Like it's a hump day?
Yeah.
You just trying to get over the hump?
Yes. I got humped. Yeah.
Who humped you?
Huh?
What?
What? Oh, no, it's just a bit.
Now I'm jealous.
It's a bit.
I knew there was something funny going on in that little room you hang out in at work.
I will say, Rufus's little toy when I got home caught some hell. Caught a little bit of steam off of him, and I was like, what are you doing, dude? You're in the kitchen. Take that elsewhere.
Are you saying that Rufus was
Humping his toy. Oh,
is making sweet love to the toy?
The toy's pregnant now.
Oh.
There's definitely no doubt about it. I think it might be triplets.
I don't need to know this.
So, yeah, so it is hump day. And here we are. How are you today?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, you're like the little kitty on the poster in the guidance office?
I'm like the new kids on the block. I'm hanging tough.
Haha, yes. Don't do that.
What?
Every time you say new kids on the block, I want to go, oh.
The right stuff. That needs to be your next karaoke song, Dylan.
The right stuff. I'm gonna do it tonight. Everyone show up at the gym in Waynesville, North Carolina. Dylan's coming to the stage. All right, moving forward. Cut that out.
Awesome. You know, Dylan, if you ever had a stalker, like someone who listens to the podcast.
Who wants to Matt Walsh me?
And is like obsessively stalking you or wants to dox you or anything like that.
Yeah.
You make it very easy for them.
Yeah, close that out.
He's like, let me just show you my address. I'm going to post it on the internet. Somebody come by here and kill me, please.
Sometimes I forget the world's listening.
Yeah, I don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
You know, there are serial killers out there, Dylan.
Wait a second. Are you going to take that out or is it too late for me?
No, I'm going to leave it in there.
Oh, God.
And then when you get axe murdered and people are like asking me how I feel about it, I'm going to say he's a damn fool.
But then the killer makes it there, right? They've traveled like from now till my showtime at this place.
At the Apollo?
At this alleged place in Harlem. Thank you. It is in Harlem, New York. We're going to throw him off now. He'll never know. Or she. Could be a she. But they get there. And I mesmerized them with my performance of The Right Stuff by the New Kids on the Block.
Or maybe.
And now they want to be like, they don't want to kill me.
Or maybe they extra hate it because you were no Jordan Knight. And then they really want to kill you.
Oh, they were just going to like cuss me out. But after the performance, now they're definitely going to kill me.
They're so like disgruntled by this performance that they start kicking you.
Oh.
And they tell you that they don't want you to be their girl or whatever. What's that one song that the little one did?
I don't know.
Like Forever Your Girl or
that
was Paula Abdul. Never mind.
Oh my gosh.
I never listened to New Kids on the Block. Yes. I mean, not really. Not like those devotees did back in the day.
And anytime you say Paula Abdul, I'm like, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back.
We come together because opposites attract. And you know.
I always related with that animated cat in that video.
You did?
Yeah.
Because you're like a little artful dodger.
I am an artful dodger.
Yes, I know. I know this about you.
I think we just created a new podcast.
The Artful Dodger?
No, we talk about songs and then keep doing the cutaways.
We could, yeah. Actually, I had an idea for like a music podcast. But I can't get you to focus on the like podcasts we've already started.
Hey, I try. You know what? 2 episodes of long form content per week is a lot. And I don't even know how you do it, Heather, honestly.
Because I'm amazing, Dylan.
You are amazing.
You just don't honor me enough.
Okay. I'm going to go kill a mole and bring it and lay it at your feet.
I'm irreplaceable.
Yes.
Okay.
And irregardless of anything that you've ever heard before, I love you.
Every time you say that, I get an irrational hatred. Yeah.
Okay. So look,
we have listener stories.
That's why we're silly right now.
And I'm stoked.
We're so silly because
some of these are, I'm just going to say, some of y'all crazy.
Oh my God. You have cray listener stories?
Of some of y'all crazy.
Oh my God.
If I was your mama, I would spank you. Y'all crazy.
Damn. I can't wait to hear these.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Yeah. Let's just dive right in.
Do you want to begin?
Let's go.
Okay. I've thought about sending some of this in, but just never have. So here goes. I have a few. The first story, Dylan. First, one happened when I was young, a very, very long time ago. I was 12. My great-grandmother and I were very close, and I spent a lot of time with her. This was back in the day when they would not allow anyone under the age of 13 to visit people in the hospital. So she was in the hospital and dying, and I could not see her. That night, while in my bed asleep, I heard someone moving in my room. I looked at the clock, and it was 2:32 a.m. I looked, and there was my great-grandmother at the foot of my bed. She said that when they start looking for her ring, it was in the small drawer in the trunk. Then she told me how much she loved me and that she had to go. I told her that I loved her and I would see her later. My mother got home in the morning and told me that she died at 2:32 a.m. I didn't think anything of it, thinking I had been dreaming. Later, when they were tearing the house apart, I asked what they were looking for, and my mother said her ring, and it all came back to me. I told her to look in the drawer in the trunk. We looked through every trunk in the house, but did not find it. My other grandparents took one of the steamer trunks home to refinish it and discovered a hidden drawer, and inside was the ring.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So she came to say her goodbye. And she knew, I'm going to assume this is like probably a family heirloom, this ring, something special, something that had meaning to her loved ones. And she knew that they would want to find it and told them where it was at.
That's magic.
Would that weird you out, or would that be almost comfortable for you? I think I would be almost comforted.
I would be comforted.
Yeah,
I
totally.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even scary.
It's like a really nice story.
It is.
The second story we have, Dylan, from the same writer, is we, my wife and I, swear our houses are haunted by her parents. Several things have happened. One time I was in the living room with her dad, and we heard the back door open and close. The dog even raised his head. We sat and waited for whomever to come down the hall, but no one came. Another time my wife's dad was at the house with his new fiance. My wife's mother died about 12 years earlier, and we were taking pictures. All the pictures turned out fine, except the ones with the fiance. In all of them, there was a big green dot over her face. There are other instances of doors opening and no one will be there. The other thing is that many times we will be sitting around and we will all of a sudden smell cigarette smoke. Neither one of us smoke, but her mother did.
Oh my gosh.
That's creepy.
The continued visitation may start creeping me out a little bit, you know?
You think so?
Well, no. I mean, if I thought it was some family member's energy, maybe not. But, yeah, I don't know.
I'll be comforted one day, Dylan, if you pass and I smell beer and cigarettes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I'll know you're with me.
Or what about even more distinct and you know it's me if you smell my mill boots, right?
I will decline that invitation.
And my moist mill socks.
Please stop. You're
Even the words.
You're going to make me throw up in my mouth.
Oh
Stop
my
it.
God. Is mill socks like moist?
They're disgusting. You're gross.
They're gross.
Okay. Are you ready for our second?
Yeah. Yes.
Our second email here.
Thank you. They want to be not anonymous on that first one. Thank you for sharing with us.
Hey guys, for story purposes, you can call me Kate, as I've got half my family listening to the pod now and can't have them knowing I'm a tinfoil hat lady. For gushing purposes, I love you guys. Well, thank you. We love you too.
She's under an alias.
You have such a wonderful dynamic and bring to life so many great stories and tales with dignity and respect, and above all, excellent research skills. Thank you.
I think that was all Heather right there.
Y'all are some bad bitches, and I can always appreciate finding creators from where I'm from, baby. So proud of you, and if you read this, I may actually poo. Anyway, here's a short but bizarre story.
Well, is she pooing right now?
Well, please don't poo.
I'm sorry. That's such a compliment.
It is. I love you so much, I'm going to shit my pants.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I get that. I understand that excitement. Because I probably would do that too, but I think it's just because I have like IBS. Okay, now to set the scene, I grew up in rural Kentucky. Let me also specify that the area I lived in was predominantly trailers and older houses belonging to lower class families. Important for later. My best friend and I grew up close to each other and spent many days doing weird emo kid shit like hanging out in the cemetery and hunting for clowns in the great clown stalking phase of 2016. Now, we never found one out in the boonies. Shocking, I know. One summer night, we decided to pitch up my dad's ladder and get on the roof of my house to stargaze and talk about life. It was fun. That does sound fun.
I love that they were out there clown hunting. They didn't give a damn if they were in the middle of the country or not. They just knew there had to be a creepy clown around there somewhere.
You know, that was such a strange time.
I
feel like that's really when the wrinkle in time happened.
It's possible.
The clowns brought this apocalypse
That was the
we're,
first
like,
ridiculous
living in now.
yeah, thing that broke kind of worldwide.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to have to research that. Oh my gosh.
For about 10 minutes, we sat peacefully laughing about stuff in school and pointing out constellations. What would have been a lovely memory was interrupted when I noticed a strange little star shining just a bit more brightly than the others near it. I pointed it out to her, and I remember her saying she saw it too and how neat it was. Both of us watching, it moved, just slightly for a second. I thought it was just a trick of the eye. I noticed the star looked like it was getting bigger somehow. Neither of us said anything. I think we wanted to keep believing it was just a weird star. Then we realized why it looked like it was getting bigger. It wasn't, it was getting closer. We watched this ball of light dip past the tree line, not the tree line, Dylan, behind my house and gently hover over my backyard, maybe 10 yards in front of us, perfectly eye level. Because it came down so naturally without a single noise following it, I honestly thought I had to be hallucinating until I saw the confused look on Ash's face. She saw mine too. We both immediately started hollering for my dad and trying to scurry down the ladder without slipping and, breaking a bone or two. I was about halfway down when the back door opened, my dad rushing out all panicked and asking what was wrong. Both of us hyperventilating, Ash and I just pointed to the sky and jumbled out our genuine terror because our fucking orb just floated out of the sky and noticed us.
Oh my gosh.
But when we looked back up, it was gone without a trace. It left as it came without a single sound. We were just baffled. My dad still doesn't believe us, but Ash and I always talk about this experience and how glad we were not to have witnessed it alone because we both would have probably just killed over if so. It's nice to have someone to confirm an experience like that too. In any case, we have tried to justify this and could just never. We tried to say it was maybe a drone, but no, it couldn't have been. No noise, no blinking lights, and very much just a defined sphere of light. And also, no one in Miles that could even afford one of those things at the time, including either of our broke asses. Now, I know this is kind of short, but that's really all that ever happened. I wish I had more to say about it because maybe it would start to make a lick of sense, but whatever, it wasn't, or it didn't seem malicious. I'm sorry, guys. I have a hard time reading because I'm half blind. I feel like if it wanted to hurt us or abduct us, it would have, whether we started yelling or running or not. LOL. Just a weird one-off experience. I will add, though, that I grew up in an area of Kentucky that hosted many an unsolved murder, and also where the Kentucky Goblin documentary thing was made. You can see my road in one of the episodes, featuring a cave that Ash and I would often explore with her sister and boyfriend. Very cool. And didn't make me shit my pants at all to see that in the show. So I've at least accepted that there's some weird energy shit happening out there. In any case, I love my home more than anything, and even orbs and goblins can't change that. Thank you for reading, and if you actually did, eek, I'll cry. This part is just for y'all, and you don't have to read it out loud, just a wreck. Oh, okay. I see. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, God, I want to know.
I won't read the part out loud.
Yeah, well, I need to know.
It
I need to sign it to me,
mean,
baby.
it basically just says that she's madly in love with you, Dylan, and that she plans to break us up.
Oh, my God.
And she wants to take you back to Kentucky and sacrifice you to the goblin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So given the dates I heard in that story, she is over 18. That's good. Check. All right. Okay. So I need to set her straight. If I could have her contact info, I'm going to clear this up. Okay.
And she said, P.S. Dylan would be sexy dressed like a clown.
No, she didn't say that.
Oh, no, she does.
She didn't say that.
She totally says that.
I mean, look, I could pull off sassy clown. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, come on.
You kind of look like a juggalo.
I could be a scary clown too, because I'll be like, oh, I could be a gay clown. Yeah, you know how I'm just gonna be like, boo. It's just like my gay goes, but it'll just be like, boo, like over in the bushes. I'm like, oh.
Why do you always have your gay ghost and your gay goblin and your gay clown talk like that?
Because that's how they would talk.
There are plenty of gay folk out there, Dylan, who speak normally.
Well, if I was a gay bee, I would be like, Buzz. I'm like, I'm going to sting you, girl. I'm going to sting you.
Okay, stop.
Enough.
We're moving along.
Thank you, Kate.
I mean, if you have something to come out and tell us, June is Pride Month. You can be honest on the show and share with us.
Well, yeah, I can admit when a man's sexy. I think people know that in my history.
Well, who's sexy?
It's just like, over the years on the podcast, I'm like, yeah, that's a hot dude.
Who's a hot dude?
I don't remember.
Give me an example.
Oh, that Australian guy who like killed that girl. Might have been the Craigslist killer, maybe. Tall, blonde.
I have no idea.
Wait, no, that's Skarsgård. I don't know.
Oh, you think Alexander Skarsgård is sexy?
I mean, come on. I don't like. He's kind of dweeby. I don't like his character in Succession this year. It's not his best.
Okay.
Eric, True Blood.
Okay, now yeah.
I mean, come on.
That's a sexy man.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Kate. And I think you saw an unidentified aerial phenomenon, right? And yeah, and I think having someone to share it with, you would never believe that your brain wouldn't be able to convince yourself that you saw what you saw. And having someone to share that with and confirm you saw the same thing, I mean, come on.
No, it is always nice when you have a shared experience.
Yes.
And you're not like losing your mind.
Yes.
Or hallucinating or whatever. Absolutely. Dylan, we have our third story. Are you ready?
Yeah, this is good. We already have paranormal. We already have an unidentified aerial phenomenon. And yeah.
Okay. A few episodes ago, your podcast, Mountain Murders, covered a story where you spoke about a haunted bridge. I think that was our Haunted New York.
Yes, I believe so.
I've got a story about a bridge in my hometown in Ohio. The story, I've always been told, is that a man killed his wife and baby by throwing them off the bridge. Then he hung himself from the bridge. When I was young, I had just gotten my driver's license, and this was probably like 2006. I drove with some friends out to the bridge late at night. What is it about when you're like a young kid, you always want to go to these like haunted places with your friends, even though you're terrified?
Yeah.
And you're all like giggling and
you're all like, let's go at midnight.
But then you're like scared to get out of the car. Did you
right.
ever do that kind of thing?
Of course.
Yeah, it's funny. Okay. We parked for a while before getting out of the car. Everything was quiet. We walked around the bridge exploring. My friend was snapping photos on her cell phone, but we didn't get anything. It wasn't until the next day when I went out to my car parked in my driveway that I saw handprints from a small child all over the trunk area of my car. I didn't know any little kids. Our neighbors were older people, and I have no way to explain the handprints other than they came from our trip to the bridge.
Hold on a second. This is a classic urban legend ghost story. Am I right?
Well, the like crybaby bridges are these
right.
haunted bridges.
I've heard of many.
I mean, there's a lot of these types of stories.
People will put baby powder across their bumper and trunk or something, drive slowly through these areas, and then say they see the handprints. And I said it before. Something about ghost kids creeps me out.
It is.
The disembodied voices.
Well, it's interesting to me that you have multiple people who have these similar experiences. You have a lot of these haunted bridge legends, and ghost stories, like all over the country. Because we were talking about one in New York.
We have Helen's Bridge here locally.
Yeah, I mean, that's a spooky story.
And often it's something along the lines of a terrible wreck or someone died, and then we have the lady in, is it the lady in red or the lady in white?
White that like flags someone down
forever
for a
mourning,
ride and then
died on her honeymoon
when you try to give her a ride. I mean, there's multiple stories like that, and they all kind of seem to share a lot of the common like similarities.
And bridges are one of the most popular places for these types of stories to be. Why do you think that is? Is it just bridges are kind of creepy?
I'm not sure, Dylan. Maybe just because
there's always water
prone.
There's typically water there.
Where
rivers
people can have pretty bad accidents,
tragic accidents.
Get if there's a water. I mean, because not all bridges are associated with water, but if you do have a river or creek underneath, you can get the rising levels of the water if there's a bad storm. I mean, there's just I think a lot of layers.
Yeah.
To why a bridge could possibly be creepy or haunted.
Oh my God. A new book. You just wrote a new book. We need a ghostwriter to help us put together.
What is that?
It's going to be called Why Are Bridges Creepy as Fuck.
That's your new podcast. Why Are Bridges Creepy? And every week Dylan will go out and he will examine the bridge and he will make a report to the DOT about how this bridge needs to be repaired.
Oh my God. We would all be scared to death if we knew the true problems in our infrastructure.
Well,
That's
that
very
was
scary.
sent in to us from Bryn.
Thank you, Bren.
Because, you know, some folks include their name, and then some people want to change their name, and then some people are like,
We're getting it all
don't
today.
you fucking say who I am at all.
And then some people like, say my name,
Say my name. Because they just want to hear Dylan say their name.
Yeah. Hey, Bren. Thank you for the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving along, Dylan, are you ready for the next one?
Yeah, go ahead and drag it across my face. I hadn't said that in a while, but let's get this thing started.
Why are you so weird, bro?
Yeah, I want to feel the story.
Hey, Heather and Dylan. Well, hello.
Hello, governor.
Do I have a story for you? I've thought about sharing this with y'all every time I hear a listener story. A few years ago, my best friend who works in the nonprofit sector invited me to a Christmas party at her house. Among the guests were friends and a few coworkers. I should also mention that my friend, we'll call her Anne, had hinted several times that she had this new coworker. We'll call him Chris, who was single, good-looking, and smart. She thought we'd hit it off, but I'm not one for blind dates, so I blew her off. Now, fast forward to the holiday party. It was a fun event where we played a gift exchange game, had drinks, and there was music and dancing. Anne and her wife casually introduced me to Chris, you know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I knew exactly what they were up to, and she was right, though. He was exactly as described. He was good looking, clean cut. We started chatting. I learned he had been a lawyer before moving to our area, and we agreed on a date. A few days later, we met at a Mexican restaurant near my house. When I brought up his reason for moving and why he was no longer practicing law, he was evasive. I thought it was strange, especially given his earning potential was much higher practicing law than working for a nonprofit. Our date was fine, though there really were no sparks. But later that night, when he dropped me off at my place, I decided to do a quick search of his name. I was shocked to learn that he had been disbarred for accepting sexual services as payment for legal services with more than one female client.
Oh, my God.
One client had alleged it was not consensual, though he was never charged for it. Needless to say, I opted out of the second date. No more blind dates for me. My friend sent me on a date with a freak. Thanks, friend.
Holy.
And this is signed Lacey.
Lacey, I bet your like jaw was on the floor when you Googleized this guy's name, right? And now we know why he was evasive. This is okay. I did not expect this. Well, this was a good one. And all of the aliases, we'll call them so and so.
Dates, which really, let's be honest, if you meet someone on a dating app or the internet, it's essentially a blind date because you go in not knowing very much about this person at all.
Yeah, well, I would
And
say
it's easy to lie to people and whatever.
Well, that's true.
So those are all blind dates.
Yeah,
and you never know. It's like Forrest Gump said, it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Oh my God. You know the despair, or maybe not despair, but just the sadness that would set in as a child when you get access to one of those boxes of chocolates, and you're like, I'm about to have one of those. But you get one of the gross flavors because you know there's 4 or 5 in the like 20 chocolates.
Okay, first of all, you're talking about like the sampler,
yes,
that people give away at like holidays
yes,
or Valentine's Day, right?
Yes.
And then you get stuck with like the shittiest one.
There's 4 or 5 that are like remember when the jelly beans were a big thing? The weird taste, they had weird taste ones mixed in with the good ones, and like one was like
the
puke,
bamboozled,
and
jelly beans
and dog food.
Remember we bought some of those like a few years ago, and we were like eating them.
Oh my God,
and they were really bad.
They were horrible. I was like, why would you even do this to yourself as a kid? But yeah, that's what blind dating is like. You might get someone decent, and you may get one of those ones you might have to spit them out.
And
afterwards.
You lucked up. Look, you got me.
Yeah, I didn't spit. I swallowed you, baby.
Oh gosh!
Wow, that's not double entendre.
What is wrong with you today?
You're
so sassy.
Okay, that was a great story.
Okay, we have more.
Just keep ripping them off.
I've got quite a few here because we've been like hanging on for some months to these stories.
We've been promising this episode. It's loosey-goosey. I love it. Heather loves the break. We love reading y'all's stories. So just keep going. Don't stop.
Okay. You ready for the next one?
I'm born ready.
Mountain Murders. Hi. I wanted to share A few things about the nightclub where I worked for several years. Although the building does not seem to have any unusual history because it's less than 40 years old, there are unexplained things that have happened to me and others. There's an office upstairs with a private bathroom. One evening before the club opened, I was in the office counting money for the drawers, so we had enough change. I saw someone walking down the hallway, which was dark, and enter into the bathroom, which was by the office door. I kept working and realized no one had come out of the bathroom, so I finally got up and knocked on the door. Turns out no one was in the bathroom at all, but the door was locked from the inside. Our owner actually had to use a screwdriver to jimmy the door open. A bartender was cleaning up after close when she heard someone say in a whisper, "Don't leave, I'm scared."
Oh, no. No, 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 no.
There was no one around. Several other employees, all women, have felt something touching them in the upstairs bathroom while washing their hands, almost like someone brushing up against their butts. Okay, so the ghost is a pervert, and we know that I'm going to assume it's a he, but this ghost is an ass man. Like Kramer.
His name's like Lyle or something like that. He's a dick.
I mean, maybe, I don't know. If I was a ghost, I'd probably go around grabbing women's butts too.
Well, so
I mean, I like butts and boobs.
top
so
three things you do if you become invisible. I think one of them is go into women's bathroom.
What? Because you want to
In the
see
gym.
some lady
As a kid.
You want to see a lady
Look,
taking
wait.
what is this? Porkies? You want to see some lady taking an explosive dump?
Oh my God.
Like that movie? Was that not another teen movie? Yeah, that's what you want to see.
That sounded way worse than it was or intended to be as a child, as a young
so
kid.
Weird.
You'd steal money from a bank vault next, so you can see where we're at. Okay, I didn't
But if I'm a
realize
ghost, what am I going to do with this money?
how inappropriate it would be to sneak into the women's locker room and look at them without their consent.
This
don't
is
think?
not a really bad 80s movie. Okay?
Oh, I read this big thing about those sexploitation movies during that period. They were pretty rough.
They're
They're
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
They do not hold up well today.
No, I can't
Okay.
even watch them.
So back to our story. We felt a push going down the stairs from behind. The present owner took over the club after his uncle died of an overdose in the upstairs office. We think it's the uncle's ghost haunting the place. Glasses have flown off the bar, bottles get knocked off the shelves, and chairs get pushed across the room a few feet when no one is there.
Oh my gosh.
And this is signed Nicole.
But Nicole, I would be, can I say that
I would be Audi 5000.
Don't Leave, I'm Scared is got to be in my top 5 of scariest things I've ever heard allegedly said by a spirit.
That's pretty creepy.
That's pretty bad. That could be top 3, bud. It could.
I'm just imagining if you hear that noise, it's
I'm
going to make
leaving.
the hairs on the back of your neck
Yes.
stand up, and you're going to just need to like locomote on out of this club.
But then you are leaving, which is against the spirit's, advice, and now you could be in trouble.
I'd be like, quit whispering creepy shit at me, and I'll stay. Okay?
Yeah, I'd be like, whisper the damn lottery tickets or numbers next week to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, see
Tell
if
me
you.
where the treasure's buried.
Yeah.
Okay. You ready?
Thank you, Nicole.
Are we ready for that one?
I can't. Baby likes listener stories.
Please don't do the baby voice. Now, our next story, Dylan. I've been listening to Mountain Murders for a few years now that I found you on YouTube. Someone's listening on YouTube.
Oh,
That's awesome.
And you can join them and hit subscribe. It helps us a lot.
I've been meaning to send in a listener story for a minute. Here goes. A while back, my wife befriended a woman she met in a stained glass class at the community center near our house. The woman, I will call her Sarah, was a witchy type. My wife is into horoscopes, astrology, stuff like that, so it's not a big deal to me. Now, at first, my wife's relationship with Sarah was superficial, like they only saw each other in class, but it ended after 12 weeks. Then they started meeting up for coffee and going shopping together. One day, my wife had her tarot card reading done by Sarah, and all the cards were bad in my wife's opinion. The Tower, 10 of Swords, Knight of Swords, 5 of Cups. I didn't know what any of these cards meant, but my wife was shook about it. Sarah told her that she can't ignore the cards. They represent something terrible coming up. Over the course of the next few weeks, my wife was hit with a series of bad luck. She had a minor fender bender, then got sick, which lingered for months. Sarah then convinced my wife that there were problems between us, which is not true at all.
My
After a
gosh.
while, my wife finally stopped hanging out with Sarah after she made a few frightening comments. I mean, the whole thing was unsettling. One evening, my wife was walking from the driveway to our house when an unfamiliar dog appeared from the road. It was snarling as if it would attack my wife, and she ran inside scared. And when I went back to check, the dog ran off. Insomnia, headaches, anxiety seemed to plague my wife since her friendship with Sarah soured. My wife finally did a clearing of our house, salted, burned some sage, etc. As much as I don't want to admit it, I believe that this black magic worked. I do think my wife was under some spiritual type of attack, and I have to say we're not religious. I have encouraged my wife to be strong and not feed the fear. Our life seems to be getting back on track now. And this is signed M.O.
M.O. Damn, dude. It was like thinner up this bitch. You know? Your wife was it Sarah how long had she known Sarah? I guess is what I'm getting at.
Well, I don't know.
I would like to know that. And I bet he was just like, you need to quit talking to this Sarah person because she is like not good for you. You know what I mean? You ever be around somebody your other significant other knows and you just have like a even if it's a coworker or somebody, a mild acquaintance, you just have bad energy.
My partners have had friends before that I
never
wasn't
warm up to them.
Particularly fond of. They gave me a weird feeling, or something just didn't quite sit right with being around that person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that feeling never changes for me when I get it from someone. It's just always like that. I don't want to be around that person.
This is really weird, though. It's like, why would this woman who's supposedly your friend trying to hex you or something? I mean, it's just very
maybe
it's just scary.
Maybe at first she felt like she wasn't taking her seriously about the cards. Maybe that was all genuine, and then she put worked some old roots on her or something. Some old hoodoo.
Got conjured.
The conjuring.
It's conjured.
The conjured.
If you live around here, it's conjured, Dylan.
Or somebody's working roots on you.
I had an old boss, and he swore somebody had conjured them at like an office where he worked.
And it's just like a curse, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I got conjured one time.
You did?
Yeah. Woke up, didn't know where I was at.
Are you for real?
Yeah. Yeah. I got I'm sorry. I was thinking of Shanghai. Yeah. They took me to the port and made me be a pirate for 3 years under forced labor.
Okay, that's not conjuring.
Yeah, that's Shanghai.
I guess it could be kind of. Are you ready for our next story, Dylan?
Yes, I am. Thank you, M.O. And I'm glad. They say bad comes in threes. That's what we hear around here. And
that's true.
And we've been moving forward on the just briefly, I'll say, on the hermetic principles of that. It's everything's like all the energy's like a pendulum. As far as it swings bad, it's going to swing back good soon. Just ride it out. It's going to get better, and all that. Law of abundance and all that stuff. And energy matters.
Yeah, it's like
it truly
38
does.
Special said, just hold on loosely.
Yeah, hold on loosely.
And don't let go.
Don't you ever let go.
Okay, you ready for our next story?
Let's go.
Okay.
This is great.
A few years ago, I was visiting my friend who lives in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia.
Wow.
He wanted me to go on a hike, which I was stoked about because my buddy offered to take me off trail to a spot where he often went and told me about this hidden waterfall. No one knew exactly where we were, so if something happened to us, we'd probably be screwed. But I didn't think about that. I didn't think that far ahead. We were hiking up this super steep hill with dense trees when all of a sudden a massive black bear pops out of the woods. This thing is about 7 feet tall. We surprised the bear and it took off, but holy shit, I thought I was going to watch my friend get mauled by a bear. I was slightly behind my friend. By now, he manages to get out the bear spray from his pack and told me to make a bunch of noise in case the bear came back. I was freaking out. All I could do was jumping jacks and make a weird moaning sound.
Oh my God.
Now we were fine and the bear was gone. Afterwards, I kept thinking about what a fool I must have looked like doing jumping jacks and moaning as loudly as I could. I've since learned that black bears are not much of a threat and they only attack if they feel threatened or their cubs are. And it's signed Bear in the Woods.
A bear in the woods. I'm sure that bear was threatened by you and probably headed the other way.
I was thinking about the jumping jacks and like, ah!
No, yeah. Well,
I need to hear the moaning sound.
I wish there was at least audio of this situation. I guarantee the audio.
Ooh.
Damn, is he haunting the
Don't
bear?
know.
Okay, this is what's happening in my head. For one, I'm hearing vigorous like gym jumping jacks.
Yeah.
All the kids were reluctantly doing.
I just love that the jump up and down automatically just starts doing some jumping jacks.
Well, that is
Or he or she, I don't know.
that is flailing to a rather good degree. I mean, I think it's a great choice on movement, but I'm just like, yeah, and jumping jacking. That's what's going on in my head.
Why's it gotta be jacking?
Doing jumping jacks. Well, that's technically jumping jacking, and I didn't mean that, but let's go there.
Okay.
The bear was just like, oh my God.
Look, nobody needs to know about your masturbation technique, Dylan.
Wow.
Okay, you ready?
I beat it like he stole money from me. Oh, there's a saying at the mill you hear from the old timers. You're like a sore dick. And you'd be like, oh, yeah? And they'd be like, hard to beat. Like if you bring them a biscuit or something or get them a cold drink.
Okay. Gotta love them old timers.
You gotta love the old timers.
Are you ready for our next story?
Yeah,
I told you, man, we got a few here because we've been
let's go.
collecting these. I think the last time we did a story was like November listeners.
Oh my God,
it's been a minute.
Let's express all these stories.
Hey, podcast friends. I've been playing catch up since I found your show and recently listened to the Asylum series. I know I'm far behind. I wanted to share a story about the time I worked in a mental health unit for only about 6 months. I just couldn't do the work. I was on an overnight shift with only one other staff member, and she'd been working a double, so I told her to take a nap, thinking I'd be able to handle everything for an hour or so because it was in the middle of the night and the patients were asleep in their rooms. We had a newly admitted patient with a schizophrenia diagnosis, and I turned my back for like 15 seconds when I feel an arm around my neck and I'm in a chokehold. It was the scariest moment of my life. The training included self-defense, but I knew if anyone got me in a chokehold like this, there's really not much you could do, and I could die. And the training taught us to do whatever we had to do to survive. I couldn't really do much but flail around and kick my legs at his legs, hoping he might let go of me. It was a miracle that another patient had gotten up with a headache and came around to the nurse's station for an ibuprofen. I could feel my throat being squeezed, couldn't breathe, and my eyes felt like they might pop out of my head. The whole time he has me in this chokehold, he is whispering a repetitive phrase about when the devil leaves hell.
Oh my God.
The other patient saw what was happening and started screaming. He let go of me, then ran into his room and locked the door. I had to get medical treatment. All I could think is how it's going to end. That this is how it's going to end. I'm sorry.
Yeah, dude, he was going to kill him.
A truly frightening experience. I made the recommendation that we needed more night staff on duty, but I didn't last much longer after that and found a job in a doctor's office.
Oh.
This is signed Corinne.
Corinne, I'm so sorry that happened.
This is very frightening.
And,
when she says this is a very frightening experience.
I'm sorry. I said
yes,
he earlier.
this sounds...
Oh my God, Corinne.
This is terrible.
So, surprised you, caught you off guard. You're new. You don't have those instincts. And this is honestly could happen to anyone, I think, in this situation. Even if you've been there, complacency, oftentimes your worst enemy in a setting like this or some dangerous industrial because you've gotten used to it and you've kind of let your guard down. But in this case, sound like you were new and caught you off guard, locked it in there tight because you were, not expecting this. And once that choke gets up under once the arm gets up, and we see it if you watch UFC all the time, once they get in past your chin and in tight, even the pro fighters very seldom get out of that. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that person would have kept squeezing your neck. I think that person might have killed you, likely.
And then...
And whispering.
Repeating a phrase, when the devil leaves hell. Okay.
That's all the more torturous. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I'm really sorry that happened to you.
No, there certainly should have been...
This is, not okay.
Buddy teams at all time, I think, would be the standard in this place.
How would you only have 2 staff members on a shift?
I
don't know how many people were housed in this unit.
No, but this is what happens.
That sounds bad.
Underfunded, and it doesn't have to be underfunded. That's where it really pisses me off in this country, in my experiences. There's things that are underfunded that shouldn't be. You understand what I'm saying? VA healthcare system should be the model for a national healthcare system, and it should be great. It should be well-funded and great. But instead, you see what we get. But
if you will stop talking with your hands, you won't hit the microphone, and it won't make loud noises.
I'm scared for Corinne that this happened. That's traumatic. You got PTSD over that. If you're truly thinking this is how I'm going to go, That's horrible.
Well, our next story is equally as scary, and it's why I put these two stories together, because they're both like scary. I could have almost died kind of stories.
Oh my God, are we trauma buddies?
Okay, you ready for this one?
Let's go.
I was robbed at gunpoint in 2005.
Oh, Jesus. I've always wondered, someone with ill intent pointing a shaky fucking gun at me would scare me.
I was going to school in Florida, working part-time at a gas station. It had been a busy Saturday night because I worked at a store near the college campus, which sold a lot of beer to students on the weekends. I had a huge line nearly out the door and was trying to get these customers out as quickly as possible so I could catch my breath. Finally, the line seemed to be ending when a guy wearing a navy blue hoodie came up and asked me for a pack of cigarettes. As I turned around to get the pack, he pulled a gun from the front pocket of his hoodie and hissed, "Give me all your money."
Oh my God, it's a robbery.
My first thought was, why is this guy pointing a toy gun at me? It didn't look real. I stood there confused by the gun. This angered him. He cocked the pistol and said, "Give me the fucking money." It hit me. This was a real gun, and this man was serious. My brain shifted to autopilot. I opened the till, grabbing up all the money, and then shoved it across the counter at him. He snatched it up and then ran out the door. There were two girls in line behind him, and by now they're on the ground, huddled together, holding each other. I just stood there for a moment while it set in. One of the girls was crying and said, "Call for help." I looked at her and I said, "I think someone just robbed me."
Oh my gosh, poor. Couldn't even process what
I started
happened.
shaking until my knees buckled. The other girl pulled out her cell phone and called for help. It has been 18 years since the robbery, but I still have nightmares about that gun being pointed at me, and it is signed Rochelle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's definitely. My mother was robbed in a convenience store.
Really?
Yeah, she
What?
had.
You never told me
You
this
sure
story.
I haven't ever told you that?
No.
Wow.
This is very scary.
Yeah, this is a little country store out in the shadows on some route, whatever, down around Shelby. And yeah, middle of the night, just her and the person in there. No one around. It's been a slow night. And she gave him all the money she could get, had access to. And the guy still hit her with a gun in her head.
Really?
Yes.
That is very scary.
It's very.
Gosh, Rochelle, I'm really sorry that happened to you.
And I have no doubt that 18
I feel like
years.
this is one of the reasons why I've never thought about working in a convenience type of store or a bank, because I think about being robbed and having a gun stuck in my face.
Well, I'll tell you, for convenience stores and the stuff like that, is you get almost the most desperate criminal who does this dumb shit for $70, because I think it's common knowledge they don't keep anything but basically small change in the drawer.
Right.
As soon as they get a couple of $100, they drop it. I mean, it's a common practice at most places. So it's not going to be this huge score, and you're willing to do this thing of this desperate crime in my book. And it's number one target: convenience stores, liquor stores, anything like that.
Wow.
Except people don't run up in liquor stores in North Carolina, and I think it's because it's state run and managed.
Yes.
It's not your typical like little convenience store, package store. You don't have liquor on the shelves, in the store.
Yeah, there's probably heftier penalties.
Yes.
They all have video cameras.
They're very.
I mean, most of the gas stations, I think, probably have those anyway.
Well, yeah.
But definitely the liquor stores. And hell, some of them damn people that work in there, it wouldn't surprise me if they don't point a damn shotgun at you across the counter. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if you've ever noticed, walk in a pawn shop and look around and see if that's a place you would run up in and rob. Around here, I don't know if this is true for other parts of the country or world.
I've only ever been in a pawn shop like one time.
90% of the people in there are strapped with a gun on their side.
Well, that's good to
They're
know.
ready to go.
Well,
Don't rob pawn
Well, I
shops.
will mark that off my list
Pawn shops.
of crimes to commit. I'm gonna scratch off the knock over a pawn shop.
And Mark, don't do that one. And why do pawn shops even exist anymore? Because you can't get a fucking deal in there. Am I right?
I don't know. I've only ever been in one. And that wasn't because I wanted to go in there. It's like I had to go in there and pay a bill for my mom.
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah, there's a
shops
pawn
are
shop
beneath
near
you.
my mom where you can pay like your electric bill.
Yeah.
And I
that's
had to
great.
run in there and pay a bill or something. And I think that's about the only time I've ever really been in a pawn shop.
You've never had to pawn anything?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay, well, check your privilege at the door, okay?
But
because
motherfucker, that's because I ain't got nothing worth pawning. How about that?
I've had
I'm gonna pawn your ass.
semi-valuable items, and you go in there and they're like, "I'll give you a 50 cent for it."
Nice.
And you're like, "Wow, thanks. I just need like $50 to put with the rest of my money and keep my lights on till next week. Do you mind?" And they're like, "No, no. Matter of fact, I'll give you 25 cents." They start going down.
Oh, okay. Next story. You ready for this?
Yes.
Hey, y'all. Well, hey.
Hey.
Mountain Murders is my go-to podcast, and I tell everybody to listen if they want the best true crime stories with respect and humor. Heather, I know why you put up with Dylan, because that man is funny. Yeah. Well, we all have our opinions, don't we? We're all entitled to our wrong opinions.
You know, some people think the truth is purely perspective-based, and I agree with her truth.
If you ever do a live show in West Virginia, you best believe I'll buy out the front row. First, let me say I grew up in BFE, West Virginia. I grew up around wild mountain people, so hearing strange hooting and hollering in the woods ain't no thing. Well, you know they say hooting leads to hollering.
Oh, there's a big thing about never, ever leaving the trail for hoots and hollers or your name in the woods.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
On this particular night, I was driving home with some friends, and we had the windows down. I was taking it slow. We hear a loud, high-pitched scream and think the meth monsters is out prowling.
It's the Methicans.
Then all of a sudden, I go around a curve into a thick layer of fog. It was so dense, I could barely see. You know, I hate that shit. I don't like driving at night, and I hate when there's fog or pouring rain. This is like my personal hell, is to have to drive in this shit.
And fog, thick fog, you can all of a sudden have literally zero visibility. And it's super fucking creepy,
Yeah,
too.
I don't like it. I was squinting and not sure what to do. I flick my high beams on. I've slowed down to what feels like 5 miles per hour, barely rolling through the fog. Then all of a sudden, the fog dissipates and this creature steps in front of my car. At this point, we're nearly at a standstill anyway because my vision was so bad in the foggy night. I understand that. This thing was about 6 feet tall, skinny, with long, gangly arms and a wolf-like head. Though it was skinny, it appeared to be part man, part animal. It was bipedal. It looked directly at us, then let out this howl. The thing was dragging a deer behind him, like a full-on buck with a giant rack of antlers.
Oh, my God.
Stunned, I quickly throw the car in reverse and hit the gas. We start going back down the road, then I put it in drive and punch the gas. We go around the thing, which is by now in the left lane, and dragging the deer into the woods on the other side of the road. What the fuck?
It's the West Virginia Wolf Man.
After I slam the gas, we're in my driveway in less than 10 minutes. Freaked out, we rush inside the house and lock all the doors. None of us slept that night. We kept looking out the windows, hoping whatever it was did not follow us home. I'm telling you, Mountain Murders, that whatever that thing was looked like a werewolf. I've never seen any more wolfmen in the area, but there are 3 people in the world who believe now after our late night experience.
Oh, my God. Thank you. Is this signed?
Pete.
Pete. I'll give you my sincerest thanks for adding a cryptid to the paranormal and the UAPs. We're covering all the bases because our listeners are the best.
Long, gangly arms.
Like a super shitty blind date.
Dragging a fucking deer?
Yeah, a full-on grown buck.
What the heck?
With a
Well,
full
yeah,
rack.
you know that thing's got to weigh probably
That's
damn 200 pounds.
That's a big deer. They got big-bodied deer up through there, I've heard.
And this
Some
thing's
hunters
just
say.
dragging it?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to see a wolf man in the woods. I'm going to be honest.
No.
No wolf man for me. Thanks.
See, and that's what you get with fog. You never know what can happen. And the next thing you know, you're just like you're in that movie The Mist. And yeah, Stephen King's Mist.
And then there's the fog.
And then there's
With
the
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah. And it was an old girl up there in the radio station.
Yeah.
Golly, Bob. I liked her.
Wasn't that Jamie Lee?
Adrienne Barbeau.
Oh, Adrienne Barbeau.
Barbeau. Yeah.
Was that her or was Jamie Lee in the
Or wait.
fog?
No, I think they both were. Adrienne was up in the radio tower.
You know, I know a lot of men who say Adrienne Barbeau did things to them when they were young.
Yes. She was just a really good actress.
Is that it?
No, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry. Wow, damn.
We have one more story, and I'm going to end on this one, Dylan, because I have to say this is quite a doozy, and this is the one that if I was your mom, I'd probably spank your little butt.
Okay.
So I'm going to let you know. I don't approve of what you did.
Thank you, Pete, and I'm glad you're safe from the West Virginia Wolf Man.
Ow! werewolves
Oh,
of
I
West
wonder if it's
Virginia.
Wolfman J. Black, or was it werewolves of London, werewolves of West Virginia?
Well, that's Warren Zevon, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Wolfman Jack too. I don't know. That's how my brain works.
It's like the radio guy.
I'm also seeing Jack Nicholson. Wasn't he in a werewolf movie?
He was in that movie The Wolf
Yeah.
with Michelle
Ooh,
Pfeiffer.
and I think he did a good wolf.
We
'cause
should
it was-
watch. I haven't seen that movie since it came out, like way back. Was
Let's
it like
screen it.
93 or
because
something?
Jack had that animal magnetism he was bringing to the role.
He plays crazy well.
I think he really is crazy.
Yeah, he's
'Cause-
kind of sexy. Like his crazy is kind of hot.
Yeah,
Like the Witches of Eastwick,
it's like
because he's all like the devil, and I'm like, yeah.
Oh, you won't be possessed.
Plus, it has Cher in it, and I love Cher.
Dude, let's watch it. He's okay. We gotta watch that too. That's a good one.
Okay, we'll have a double feature.
And Death Becomes Her is a great
We'll
one
have
as well.
that is a fucking great movie. We'll have a Jack Nicholson double feature.
Okay,
Okay, even though Death Becomes Her, he's not in
I
it.
want to hear the mama spanking story.
Now, this is the one where I'm like, Are you ready for this?
Let's go.
If you've seen Adventures in Babysitting, then here's my version of that. I was nervous about sharing, but it's been years. When I was 16, I was sleeping over at a friend's house. There were 5 of us. Well, in theory, one of our friends had gone to spend the night with her skeevy ass pedo 24-year-old internet boyfriend.
Ugh. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Plus, I love skeevy.
Yeah. He is
I say
skeevy.
skeezy.
No, but I
I've
think
not heard,
skeevy's
but I
even
haven't heard
worse.
skeevy. I kind of like
I
that.
think that's for the creepy 24-year-old dating some young girl.
Yeah. We were supposed to cover for her if her mom called or whatever. And I didn't feel comfortable with this because I was a good kid and I didn't lie to my parents. Fast forward, it's around midnight when she calls us to say she's gotten into a fight with him. She left walking. She tells us her cell phone battery is low, but there's a McDonald's open 24 hours near his house. We're like, fuck, this sucks. What are we supposed to do? My friend who is hosting the sleepover party says we have to go get her. I had only been licensed a few months, and my parents were strict about where I could drive and go. I'd never driven on the highway. That's how inexperienced I was. Oh, by the way, our friend is in Atlanta, which is about 45 minutes away.
Oh my God. You know what your friend is at this moment? Out of pocket.
Yes.
She's out of pocket. She is doing things that can lead to serious repercussions and consequences, and is dangerous.
I suggest we ask a parent to go with us, but everyone shoots that down. This was back when we needed to print directions.
Oh my God. This person is very responsible.
My
Young person.
friend doesn't have a car. I know. I shouldn't really spank you, but I'm just, once we get into the story, I'm like, what were you? No. I would be terrified if I found out my kid had done this. Okay. My friend doesn't have a car and asks her older brother if we can borrow his. He doesn't want us driving to Atlanta alone and offers to go with us, but he's not happy about it. If we were 16, then he was probably 19. Basically, we all have to sneak out of the house and load into his beater car and drive to a city that we don't know anything about. When we finally arrive at the McDonald's to pick her up, by now she's gone. Of course, we're upset because our dumbass 16-year-old friend was alone at a McDonald's and now she's gone. Did she get snatched? I finally asked one of the employees if they'd seen my friend and describe her. He says yes, then tells us that she was sitting at a booth when some guy came in yelling at her. They got into a fight at the McDonald's, and the McDonald's people threatened to call the police if the couple didn't take it outside. He said the girl, meaning our friend Amanda, had left with the guy. I'm scared. We discuss our options and decide if she's gone back to his house, then maybe she's had time to charge her phone. When we call, she answers and tells us everything is fine, they've made up, and we can go on home. By now, we're all pretty mad because we made this trip to pick her up and tell her she's coming home with us tonight.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes. I'm sorry, I lost my place.
I agreed so hard you lost your place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really into it, and I was agreeing with you, Dylan. Okay, so my friend's brother gets on the phone and gets the address of where she is staying.
Yeah, we're coming to get you.
We drive to the boyfriend's house, which isn't even a mile away. This guy, the boyfriend, is a total creep. I go inside along with my other friends, and we leave her brother in the car. The boyfriend doesn't know we have the brother with us, and as soon as we go inside the house, we realize everything is not okay. They had been fighting, and he has her locked in a bedroom. She comes out and tells us he's crazy, she's scared, and we're all in danger. I'm a kid, and I don't know what to do, but I know we're in serious trouble. My first thought is there's 5 of us and 1 of him. We can take him.
Let's get him.
Yeah.
Kick his ass.
But he tells us to sit on the couch. He's pacing back and forth, screaming at our friend about what a stupid bitch she is and how dare she run away from him and what's he going to do with us. I was so scared, sat on the couch for what seemed like an eternity and tried to think of a way to escape. I wanted to call the police. He didn't have a weapon or anything, but the fact that we were all young and naive going up against a grown man was intimidating. I asked, more like begged, to use the bathroom. He finally lets me go to the bathroom. When I am in the bathroom, I lock the door behind me and immediately climb into the bathtub to open the only window in the room. I managed to get out of the window and run around front where my friend's brother is now impatiently waiting for us. Out of breath, I explain what's going on and tell him we've got to go call the cops. Imagine my surprise when Austin jumps out of the car, pops the trunk, and grabs a tire iron. He tells me to get in the car.
Oh, shit.
All I know is in a flash, he's at the front door, and I hear more screaming, and the boyfriend opens the door. My friend's brother starts swatting at him with the tire iron, and they start wrestling around, but the tire iron is hitting the boyfriend over and over in the fight. My girlfriends all run outside and get in the car. When Austin finally has the guy down, they move the wrestling match kind of out on the front porch. Austin runs to the car and jumps in. We drive away like a bat out of hell, and her brother has a few minor scratches, but otherwise is okay. We spend the rest of the trip home trying to decide what we should do. Should we call the police? Everyone agrees we'll just keep it quiet and not tell anyone. We'd all end up in trouble, and who knows what will happen. Yet when we get back to their house, their mom is awake and knows we all left. So she thinks we were sneaking out and then sees the scratches on her son, and not knowing what we've been up to is very upset. She calls our parents. I drove home and got into trouble for sneaking out. Surprisingly, none of us told the truth, and we just accepted our punishments for sneaking out because it was far better than if we told the real story. We were dumb and made bad choices, but in the end, I was glad everyone was okay. I call it my adventures in babysitting story. Oh, by the way, I'm pretty sure the 24-year-old boyfriend got busted in a child predator sting after that and went to jail.
God.
I know it sounds completely crazy, but it is a 100% true situation. And now that I'm older and the parent of 2 young children, I would die if I found out my kids did any of this. Love y'all, Hannah.
Well, Hannah, thank you for sharing that. And you guys are very lucky to just had gotten in trouble for sneaking out, generic sneaking out. And I must say, Austin was about that life, right? He was like, no, we're not leaving anybody behind. And he went to bat. So that is was a good dude right there. Thank God.
Yes.
And every one of you could have been snatched and never seen again and part of a sex, trafficking
Well,
ring.
anything could have happened.
Or
and it sounds like this
it was a really bad person.
boyfriend or child molester
He's
or
been
whatever you
grooming
wanna call
your
him
friend.
is a fucking weirdo and like
Yes.
scary and dangerous.
Yeah, unstable. Jesus. As a kid, I could see, when you get away, you all get back on the road and your adrenaline comes down. You're like, wow, we got away from that with this. And nobody's going to say anything. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas kind of thing. But then you got in trouble anyway, to a degree, because you deserve to be in trouble. Some of the things if you're taking your own advice early on and alerted the parent.
If your parents found out what you'd really been doing, you would have been in so much trouble.
Well, here's the thing. Your friend was the one, and you were just trying to do what seemed like the just thing. And I get that. I could end up in dumb shit in that very way, trying to help my friend. But your best bet would have been alert a parent. Say, this is a situation going on. She's, we don't want her to be in trouble, but she's been gone. She left with this guy. This is where they went, blah, blah, blah. And she could have dealt with the consequences of her actions. And, maybe authorities or someone get her and or whatever. But hell, what a crazy.
There's so many
Oh, my shit.
things about this story that is giving me anxiety
And
as a parent.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I just think about, the thought of kids sneaking out terrifies me.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel very lucky that I've not had to deal with that out of my child because
we have lazier kids.
what are you doing? You're squeaking your Crocs or something.
Well, I'm
Just
sorry.
sit still.
I want to be Hannah's daddy right now, and not in any kind of funny way. She is evoking every bit of dad energy from me, and the things I feel like we need to have a conversation about. I want to make sure Hannah knows how to check her oil, and be aware of if she has her tires are wearing poorly on the inside.
What I'm very concerned about is her friend who thought it was okay to be young and be with an adult man and be sneaking off like 45 minutes away to a city to be with this person.
She was possibly being groomed.
I mean,
by
well,
a
that's
predator.
true. It's just all of that is very scary.
Damn it.
And then I'm thinking about the big brother busting in and has a damn
Austin.
tire iron and just starts whacking somebody
Dude,
with
my
it.
dude was just like,
Just swatting
Yeah.
at this dude.
and
they're
like,
like wrestling
fighting him
around.
while they run out the same door. Oh shit! I see I'm inside. I just hit myself in the headphones. It's fucking Austin, bro. He was like, no.
He's wilding out.
Yeah, my guy. All right. So, hey, great listener stories. Great listener stories, right?
Yes.
Jeez.
They do not disappoint, Dylan.
Never do. We hit them all. We hit all the big ones. And we even had some totally new categories. Horrendous blind date. That's a new category. Anyone wants to follow up with another story?
Oh my gosh! No, remember we had that one
Oh, yeah, we did.
where that woman said she was like way taller than her date,
Oh, God.
and then he was like trying to snuggle her,
No,
and she just
no,
like
dude.
stood up,
And she was, like,
and
ready
he-
to go.
and dropped him in the floor.
And he like put the movie on and wanted to snuggle up on the couch. And he's like, he was so much smaller than her. This is a classic, folks. If you've never heard this, when you hear this listener story,
It was
just
so
go-
funny. I can't remember who sent that in, but I've never forgotten that story.
And what did
'cause
he
it's so
say?
damn funny.
He smell fucked her.
He
Right?
sniffed her.
He sniff
He
fucked
was
her.
sniffing her.
Didn't she call it
Yes.
sniff fucking? He sniff
Yes.
fucked me, and he snuggled up to her on the couch. And finally, when she couldn't take it anymore, she fucking just stood up,
And he
the dude
like,
fell on
and the little
floor.
guy just
She
fell,
stood up
he,
with
like,
him, like,
flopped into the floor.
and she got the fuck out of there. So, okay, this is category already existed.
I mean, we can have a bad date.
Thank you for that.
The nightmare date category.
But this is just a second installment into the officially vocalized nightmare date scenario. So we love the cryptids, we love the paranormal, we love the UAPs, any of that, the high weirdness. Wolfman, please, anyone else has nightmare dates? We got to fill that category up.
I want to have a whole listener episode that's just nightmare. That's just bad dates.
Okay, there's the call. Anyone out
Can
there
we
with
do
that
this?
funny,
If you have a bad date,
bad, funny, weird,
just whatever. Just tell us about
Memorable
like some of
dates.
your worst, most memorable, like whatever dates.
please.
mountainmurderspodcast@gmail.com.
We
I'm
will-
sorry, I keep feeling I'm a burp. I've been drinking ginger ale.
We're worked up. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, anything can happen next.
I was trying to burp without doing it on the mic. I think I managed.
You know what?
I've got to stop drinking ginger ale. So I'm not like, I've really cut back on soda. I'm trying not to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I have such an addiction to ginger ale. And then I'm just looking at this and it's got fucking 54 grams of sugar in it.
I think it's right up there with the Mountain Dew, bro.
I was going to say, this is as bad as a Mountain Dew.
I think Mountain Dew's 57, 58, maybe 60.
I just love ginger
But it's
ale.
so good.
I know. Ginger ale is so refreshing.
All right, till
I love
next
when it has a
time.
little gingery bite to it. Anyway.
We have gained some new members in Discord. Welcome. We love to see that. That's where
our
we get
new
to know
patrons.
you. Yes, I believe old John slid up in there. I think he's old JB.
Okay.
I done waved at him. So
Yeah, it's super fun. Folks who join Patreon to subscribe and support the show get to be part of our Discord chat, and we talk about everything.
24/7.
It's not just true crime,
No, and it's not just us.
and you can have one-on-one conversations with Dylan and myself.
Yeah, but also the family there. If sometimes we're busy or depressed, and
No,
not
people
want to-
people are awesome.
Yeah, it's just a great group.
You
It's
can
like,
be having a bad day, and they just like make me smile.
or if you need support or you need to rant, it's a great private place to do that. And I just got to say, I call it the island of misfit toys.
Yeah.
It's just perfect.
There was a day recently when there was a lot of talk about cooters.
Yeah. And there's been a
No,
penis.
that was fun.
One morning was spent on penis length.
It was a penis. It was a penis conversation.
A penis length. I didn't, and
I'm
I
just
did
saying,
not start
we talk
it.
about everything.
I didn't start it.
We talk about crime and cooters.
Crime and Cooters. Is that a new podcast?
Crime and cooters.
I'm going to go ahead and patent that. I think that's going to be something later.
We can get T-shirts made that
Oh,
say
dude,
like
you could
crime and cooters. Okay, so we just had to pause the podcast and revisit because we were sitting here and all of a sudden we hear this loud fucking thud right outside the studio.
And I got to say, after our listener stories set we just did, it scared the shit out of me.
It scared me too. I thought, oh my God, it's a wolf man.
Oh, it's a goddamn. Oh, excuse me. I tried to watch the GD. It's a damned old West Virginia wolf man.
It's a Waynesville wolf
It's
man.
a Wayne. No, he done come down. It's in the mountains.
Yeah, so it had us really freaked out. I was like, what the hell is that? And it turns out it's just the screen on our sliding glass door decided to just fall.
Yeah, off the tracks.
Off the tracks onto the patio.
We're safe. I'm going to mark myself safe from the screen door event in Waynesville this day.
Yeah, it ain't no ghost. It ain't no wolf man. We're just white trash.
So we thank you. As you can tell, we have just a blast reading listener stories. Heather,
Do they make you want to blast off?
yes,
Okay.
yes, and yeah, and it's a great break for Heather, and it's still fun content. We love it. Until next time.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed Alice Parsons Part 1. If you listen to our most recent episode, we will have Part 2 coming out this weekend.
Anna is something else.
It's a wild ride, Dylan.
It is. I can't wait to finish.
Oh, you always finish quick.
Well, you know what? They say it's not about how quick you finish. It's about the enjoyment
just
you get.
crossing the finish line.
Yeah, it's about
huh?
the trip there.
Yeah.
Right?
The journey.
Every journey begins with one footstep.
Okay. Well, they say every kiss begins with K as well. So
That's what they say.
just whatever. Okay. Until next time, crimes and cooters.
Crimes and Cooters.
Peace out.